All right. There we go. All right. Now. Okay. Everything green just fine. That's good. All right. Let's see. So I don't have anything planned right now. Mess with some of these real quick. I kind of like that one, I think. Yeah, okay, we'll use that one. There we go. Okay. All right, let's get. Yeah, there we go. Oh. So 15, I think that's a good one. So yeah, if anyone has any requests, feel free. Sorry about that. But for right now, we'll just kind of get started with. All right, let's see. Back that all up. Forward on that part. So this here. Go. All right. Right, now we can kind of get a little bit cleaned up. More gradual, but it is deeper. Okay, so it's going to come down farther. That, okay. All right. And then, let's see. Okay. Right there. I think that's better. Okay, there. That's a little bit better. Okay. That head is too small. That is one of rough. Dark here for sure, for sure. Alright, let's go a little bit more. I think I might have to go back to kind of blocking things out first and then kind of putting the lines in after, because that seemed to be more helpful. But here we are. We'll keep rolling with this for right now. See where we end up, but I have to go back to that. Okay, so that, I mean, that's pretty. Melts. Into the rest of the body up there. Kind of want to go a little bit more that way. For some reason, really don't like this. Too high, or maybe it's just not far enough forward. Let's slide it forward. Yeah, just be farther forward, a bit more, and then that. Okay, let's see. All right. A little bit more rounded. I think yeah. Let's just go ahead and delete that. I don't want it. I don't need it. Bump the brush size up. We're just going to and okay. Real quick, I grab this, shrink it up because I don't have enough room. Alright, so let's reevaluate this. And there. Okay, got the bottom. Okay. I feel like I need to make this a bit smaller. Go 100. Fine. Alright, let's do. Okay. We're working our way towards something closer. Yeah, actually I can use this now. This needs to be higher. Comes down, goes in, tail comes around everything. That head shape that's kind of throwing me here. It's a lot. Okay, it's a little bit more subtle. A bit farther out. This kind of cuts a little bit sharper. Okay. Okay, but yeah, this all needs to elongate / shorten here. Okay, I need to elongate the body. this, do that, and then we're going to, nope. Transform, there we go. That is very interesting when it's like that. Okay, so we've got looking closer lengthwise, I think. And I just need to adjust the headed pretty much after this, I think. Slide out a smidge. Okay, we'll start with that. Alright, then back to my pencil heel. See, and then yeah, this is wrong now a little bit. Even this is doing what I wonder if it's no, it's not that. Look at the G pencil. That is just wildly varying. Let's look at. Oh, yeah, I think I. Whoa. That is weird. It's meant to be. Okay, I don't really know. I think the rough sketch might be kind of what I. Again, we're going to just delete everything. Because sometimes that's what you need to do. Okay, let's see. Okay, so pretty much the length of the head, everything down. All right. Chest comes out past the muzzle, not by a lot, but definitely does. So this, let's see, ear, front ear, bump this up so I can fill this shape a little bit. Okay. Seeing that. Definitely not correct. Now is about so let's shrink it down. So yeah, the top should barely come over. Like that. It's a little bit more cat-like on the muzzle, which I like. Okay, that's not too bad. You do need to drop it down farther, definitely. So, and then out past the muzzle a little bit. That goes in from the muzzle smidge. So, okay. Okay, so that it kind of curves back in. Bring that tail around. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay. That is looking better. Okay. I think we're finally kind of getting it where it needs to be, but that head is looking down rather than up. Not what we're not looking up. Actually, let's undo what I just did because that's not helpful. Let's grab this head, rotate it slightly. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we'll move it forward a bit. Okay, right about there. Next to my pencil. Okay, I think that's kind of what we're looking for now. So the neck might be a smidge. Let's see. Let's drop down. Okay, let's try and bring this back a little bit. All right. It's not the worst, not the best. Certainly a start. Okay. Now, let's pop a new layer in here. Let's drop that to like 50%. Then 15. Okay. Go a little bit darker on the pencil. Now I'm gonna try and put in some actual like lines. Still pretty large on the pencil size though, because I don't want to get too detailed too fast, basically, is the idea, is avoiding getting a little bit ahead of myself. And in case anyone is wondering, yes, I am working off of a reference image of a cat staring out a window at some birds. The reason I know that is because I actually took the picture. It's the one cat that I never got anywhere with as far as it liking me, I guess. I don't know. It was a mean cat. It was not a friendly cat. He was a bit of a jerk, if we're being real. And again, I've met stray cats that have been nicer than this one. I was always kind of surprised he never liked me. But it is what it is. Some cats just don't like most people, I guess. But especially, like, he just did not care for anyone but my mom, I think. I think he put up with my stepdad. So I'm like right here. That's like shadow. I'm just gonna kind of indicate that right here with scribbles. Right there. But yeah, he was a kind of a jerk. And by kind of, I mean absolute. Just not a cool cat. So right there. So I think that let's see. Yeah, something like that. I think this actually kind of comes down like that, and that's that other leg coming out. Kind of round that a little bit, I think. It's not too bad, but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell how that eye sits, but it's like right up in here. And it's just a sliver because it's almost taken from, like, it's side, but it's a little bit from behind. We'll leave the whiskers out. It's fine. Alright, so kind of got that going in the right direction at least, which is nice. Not entirely sure how I want to proceed. Like that. Let's just erase that eye. Just doesn't make any sense where it's sitting right now. Let's stitch that because that needs to kind of go. All right. Want a little bit more steep right there, I think. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I didn't pick that up, and that's going to be a thing that I should have paid attention to. So that right there. Right. Let's see here. So I definitely got that spot wrong. Yeah, that head. So let's undo what I just did. And that head needs to come up. That neck needs to, oh, that head needs to come up. Okay. Like that. I think that's much better. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. Again, I'm not entirely sure. Still looks slightly off, but it's better for sure. Can even drop that a smidge down here. Okay. Better. Let's go back down here though. Pump this up and just kind of fill in that empty space a bit. This. Let's let the color change the smidge here. Yeah, that looks better. Cool. Alright, so then back down. What was it? 20. We can kind of go down. 15, I think. Yeah, 15. And we're gonna pop a new layer in again, and we're just gonna kind of keep going. We're gonna layer in some detail. Let's get zoomed in on this ref here. Start at the top, kind of make my way down. Alright. So, oh yeah, we can drop that down. Go back up here. Alright. I kind of sit. Okay, kind of sits right there. Yeah, right. It follows that line of the nose right there. This kind of slightly more gradual. Don't really ever get that nose the front anyway. Light change there. So I'm kind of treating this more like a painting in a way. Is that? I guess we could probably make it a smidge more. Okay, so then needs to be higher, more like right there. That's fine. All right. Ooh. All right. Back down. But yeah, I'm kind of treating it somewhat similar to a painting where you work from very general to detailed. So we're kind of going through that right now. So this is kind of where that shadow kind of lives. I don't know what using a keyboard for this right now. All right. All right, and then we got, let's see, let's go back up here. Got that, yeah, that's fine. All right, down to like there. Right, I think what I'll kind of do is throw in those little spots where the fur kind of changes direction maybe right now, and then we'll work around. Okay. A little bit zoomed in on the bottom. Let's see. This right here is kind of just folds and where the leg meets that back leg. There it looks like, which I missed earlier. I'm exaggerating the tail a little bit on the back here because the image kind of goes straight to the floor across, which is interesting but not very helpful. Right. I mean, that's kind of it for that layer, I think. So let's see. So we got that. Zoom out a smidge. Not a bad looking cat. I think the next thing is gonna be adding the stripes in over the top of this, I guess. So this is gonna be, again, more of a kind of general thing for this first part. So I'm going to bump the size of the brush back up. And then we're going to put in rough stripes, the more obvious ones. And then we'll go from there. I'm going to put in, yeah, kind of rough stripes, and then I'll go back and kind of erase them back down to where I would like them to be, because some of them are going to be thick, but others are going to be much thinner. Okay. And it just kind of gets kind of general orange a little bit in the back. Like, at least in this picture, it's very kind of general orange. I'm just gonna kind of make decisions and do what I want. And up here, we've got some that come down off the top. Join down a little bit. And then we've got small ones on the face. that there. That's fine. All right. So yeah. Now that those are in there, we can go in and erase them back a little bit. Tidy up a little, you know. Shape them. Let's see. Get in here. Let's shrink this down so I have a little bit more control. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna just kind of fade some of these a little bit. Keep it above that. Well, okay. All right, so let's see. Got this going. And then at some point I'll kind of lock the pixels on this layer. Well, I will lock the pixels on this layer, and then I will change the color of those pixels. So the first thing I'm going to do is shape everything, and then once I have everything kind of shaped the way I want, I will lock the pixels in and then change the color of those pixels. Too small with the brush for this part, honestly. But it's fine. I'm going to roll with it. You can always make adjustments when I lock the pixels still. You can erase pixels when you lock pixels. You just cannot add anything. All the adjustments you are going to make are going to change the color of whatever pixels are there. Let's see, let's bump this up and kind of soften parts of it rather than erasing it. It's a little bit more what I want to do with some of this down here. And I can still erase back parts of it as well, but it's a little bit more. All right. Alright. I am going to have to call it here soon because I've got some people coming. So it's a little short this time, but I apologize for that. And I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to be doing my stream next week. As far as time, it will be on Saturday. But the time will probably be late. I have to go do some stuff in the morning. Or I could technically probably push it off and not do it next week. Should be fine. I don't know. But now I'm gonna go over these darker ones a little bit. A little too much. There we go. Alright. So zoom out here. Yeah, whatever. I dig that very much. That's not half bad. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this layer real quick. And I'm going to hide that one, and I'm going to lock the pixels. This one. Let's see. All right. We're gonna go very light orange. Let's see. Actually, I do need to change that. There we go. Okay. Let's just go back to my pen. That is a super bright one that I don't like. That's a little bit more accurate. So we're just gonna slap this down real quick. Alright. Put that base color down. Again, looking somewhat like a painting. You kind of throw a base color, or you block out colors, and then you work your way through it. So I've done base real quick. I do want to change the front here. So we're going to adjust the size of the brush. Okay, we're gonna kind of just, okay, for some reason it wants to be weird. Let's do this. Nope. Okay, that helps a little bit, kind of keep it where I want it better. Let's back that up. Underneath. Got this color again. We're gonna bring it down, and we'll kind of blend this later, so it's not so abrupt. But I think I want that to go even here. Yeah. Again, I will blend this so it's not so crazy. But here, those are the stripes. Yes. Okay, so now the stripes we do rather dark. So sign this back up. Ooh. Yeah, that helps. So if you don't lock the pixels, that's what's gonna happen. But if you lock the pixels, get a little bit more what you're actually wanting to do. I'll just go a little bit. that's a little bit. Okay, so I've got my machine fighting to do this right now, which is interesting. All right. Might need to adjust how things are pulling power. Cool. So let's go that layer. Yeah, let's go to this layer real quick, and I think I want to do. Again, it helps when you actually lock the pixels down. All right. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and there's always a little bit that gets left whenever I do this. I don't know why, other than the fact that certain things are really struggling. That's fine, but what? Okay, so we got that, we can hide this. Yeah, there we go. So that gives us a little bit more cat to go with. We've locked that, unlocked that. Go back to my brush. Up. Push this in where it needs to go. That is not half bad. Grab that. Kind of go. Wonder if I do that. Not really. Okay. Should do. Just blend it. All right. Kind of want to have it going a specific direction as far as the goes. That way it looks more like what I want. I think that's better. All right, that's fine. That's a pretty solid little deal. Let's see, I need to get in. I need to get in here. I need to take this guy, blend it right there. That's better. All right. Okay, so then let's see, this right here can go. Not necessary. Clean this up a smidge. Fine. This is actually like fur change. I want that there, but that was just indicating where shadows were, so we can ditch that. Alright. Still a super rough, but that's fine. It's more of a sketch anyway, so it's not big. Let's drop this down. Let's pop a new layer. And underneath that one, new one. We're going to go back over to the here, and I'm just going to do what I do. And we're just kind of throwing a shadow down. Totally fine. It looks weird right now. Absolutely. But we're gonna get in there and make some adjustments and all that. Big thing that's going to change things is the blending mode for the layer we're currently on. That'll make a big difference once we get to that part. Gonna throw a small shadow in here. There. Fine. All right, so let's do. And we're just kind of turn it down a little bit. Not like an overpowering one, so I'll just go like that. And here. And I'm just going to bump this up a smidgen. And we're going to soften the edge of this. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Still doing something different, but blend it. Probably should just bump the size of the blender up. I could do I probably could have just gone with a soft eraser, I guess, but we're already here, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Oh no, I was. Oh, okay, I don't know. Let's go back. Get the outside bits here. Soft eraser. Getting really zoomed in is awful. in, shrink the brush. All right. All right. Let's see. Out a little bit. All right. Cool. I mean, it's not a bad little sketch. Oop. Did right there. Not a bad little sketch. Oops. What I want. Cool. Just gonna put things back inside lines. This. Cool. Yep. All right. Well, there is a cat staring out the window at a bird. We're gonna call it for today. Short stream, but it was fun. I had fun with that one. I don't think I'm coming back to this. I'm just gonna go ahead and bloop, bloop. Bloop. Back that up. Here real quick, and we're just going to boop. Yeah, that's fine. All right, this layer. Just gonna drop that down. That cool. All right. That's thanks again for popping in and hanging out with me. I appreciate everyone. It's always nice to have people checking out, listening, whatever, watching. If you like the stream, follow, subscribe, whatever. If you want to keep up with the stuff that I do on stream, on my all my social medias, I post after the stream. So at Zann20 on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Kara, Tumblr, at Zann20 art for TikTok, and I post there before I go live. With a time lapse of the last stream. So that's always interesting, and I post that on all the other socials too after I've done that. Thanks again for hanging out.